In the quaint town of Salineville, there stood an ancient toy shop known as Morris's Curiosities. Its owner, Mr. Morris, was an enigmatic figure with a penchant for collecting peculiar and eerie artifacts from all over the world. Among his most prized possessions was a cursed doll named Isabella, who brought misfortune to anyone who dared to possess her. Legend had it that Isabella was once a cherished plaything of a little girl named Annabelle, who tragically passed away under mysterious circumstances. Devastated by the loss of her daughter, Annabelle's grieving mother sought solace in a forbidden ritual that bound her daughter's spirit to the doll. Unknowingly, she had unleashed a malevolent force that would forever haunt the town of Salineville. Years passed, and the cursed doll found its way into the hands of different owners, leaving a trail of darkness and despair in its wake. Those who possessed Isabella soon found themselves plagued by misfortune. A string of accidents, financial ruin, and the deterioration of their relationships with loved ones. As the stories of Isabella's malevolence spread, the doll became infamous, and many feared it as a harbinger of doom. Yet, despite the warnings, some were drawn to the doll's allure, curious to test the legend's validity. Among those who found themselves entangled in the doll's malevolence was Sarah, a young woman with an adventurous spirit and a fascination with the occult. Sarah had heard the tales of Isabella and the cursed toy shop, but her curiosity got the better of her. One rainy evening, with the streets empty and the air heavy with a sense of foreboding, Sarah made her way to Morris's Curiosities. The bell above the door jingled eerily as she entered, and a chill ran down her spine. The dimly lit shop was a treasure trove of oddities, antique masks, dusty books on witchcraft, and taxidermy creatures stared at her from every corner. But it was Isabella, perched on a dusty shelf, that held Sarah's attention. With trembling hands, she picked up the cursed doll, feeling an inexplicable connection to it. The doll's glassy eyes seemed to pierce into her soul, and Sarah couldn't help but sense a haunting presence emanating from within. Despite the unsettling feeling, Sarah couldn't resist the allure of the cursed doll. She paid Mr. Morris and left the shop with Isabella nestled securely in her bag. As she walked home through the deserted streets, the rain seemed to intensify, as if the skies themselves forewarned her of the malevolence she had invited into her life. Days turned into weeks, and at first Sarah dismissed the stories of Isabella's curse as mere superstitions. But as inexplicable accidents and mishaps befell her, tripping on flat surfaces, losing her job, and having frequent nightmares, she couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. One night, while Sarah was fast asleep, she was jolted awake by a loud crash in her apartment. She rushed to the source of the noise, her heart pounding in her chest. To her horror, she found Isabella perched on her bookshelf, her glassy eyes staring at her accusingly. Nearby, a cherished photograph lay shattered on the floor. Sarah felt a wave of dread wash over her, as if the cursed doll was mocking her, intent on destroying everything she held dear. Distraught and desperate, Sarah sought help from a local paranormal investigator named Dr. Benjamin Westwood. Westwood had encountered cursed objects before and understood the gravity of the situation. Upon investigating, he revealed the tragic tale of Isabella, the cursed doll, and the misfortunes that followed its possession. He warned Sarah of the malevolent spirit that dwelled within the doll, urging her to part with it before the curse claimed her sanity or worse. Despite Westwood's warnings, Sarah couldn't bring herself to part with Isabella. She felt a strange connection to the doll, as if its malevolent presence had rooted itself deep within her soul. Unbeknownst to Sarah, the cursed doll's influence was spreading beyond her, casting a dark shadow over the entire town of Salineville. The skies grew darker, and an aura of malevolence enveloped the once charming streets. As the malevolent force within Isabella strengthened, its presence became more tangible, and Salineville descended into chaos. People spoke of strange occurrences, the sound of childish laughter in empty alleys, shadowy figures lurking in the darkness, and an unrelenting feeling of dread that permeated the air. Dr. Westwood knew that the curse had to be broken to save Salemville from its impending doom. He delved deeper into the doll's history, hoping to find a way to release the malevolent spirit that tormented the town. The answer lay in an ancient tome, the Liber Malevole, a grimoire filled with forgotten incantations and rituals. Armed with the knowledge he had gleaned, Westwood prepared for a dangerous confrontation with the cursed doll. On a moonless night, he sought out Sarah, determined to help her break free from the malevolent spirit's grip. Together, they performed the ritual, an arduous process that required immense focus and strength of will. As the incantations filled the air, Isabella's glassy eyes seemed to flicker, and the doll shook violently in Sarah's arms. The room filled with an oppressive aura, as if the malevolent spirit was fighting to maintain its hold. In a final act of desperation, the malevolent spirit lashed out, manifesting its malevolence in a violent storm that rattled the windows and caused the walls to tremble. But Sarah, fueled by her love for the life she once knew, stood her ground. She mustered all her strength and channeled it into the ritual, determined to sever the malevolent bond once and for all. As the final words of the incantation echoed through the room, a blinding light engulfed Isabella, and the malevolent spirit let out a haunting wail before dissipating into the void. The storm ceased, and a profound silence settled over the room. The cursed doll lay lifeless in Sarah's arms, its malevolence finally extinguished. With the curse broken, Salemville began to heal. The skies cleared, and the town was restored to its former charm. But the memory of Isabella and her malevolence lingered, serving as a chilling reminder of the dangers that lay hidden in the shadows. Sarah, forever changed by her encounter with the cursed doll, knew that some mysteries were best left untouched. She locked Isabella away in a chest, burying it deep within the heart of Salemville's haunted woods, ensuring that the cursed doll would never inflict misfortune upon anyone again. As the years passed, the legend of Isabella faded into the town's history, but Salemville would never forget the cursed doll that had brought darkness and despair to their lives. And so, the malevolent legacy of Isabella, the cursed doll, remained buried, forever a haunting tale etched into the town's consciousness, a stark warning of the consequences of meddling with the malevolent forces that lurk in the unknown.